Hi, welcome to World Recaps. In today's video I am going to recap a movie called The Invisible Boy. Watch out and take care. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Now let's get cracking. Our story starts with a boy named Michel, who is really focused on one thing, Halloween. He really wants to buy a Spider-Man costume. He rides his bike very fast to the costume shop, full of excitement. He sees the costume he wants through the window. But there's a problem. The shop isn't open yet. He knocks on the door, hoping the owner will let him in. The man comes to the door but says no. Not open yet. Michel tries asking again, but the answer is still no. He feels sad and let down. Suddenly, someone bumps into him, and the money he saved almost flies out of his hand. He makes a quick grab and saves it. He keeps riding to school. He makes an important decision. He hides the money inside his shoe to keep it safe. At school, Michel isn't paying attention in class. He's secretly taking a video of Stella, a girl he likes. But someone sees him. Even worse, the teacher catches him with his phone. She takes it away. She tells him directly that if he's not careful, he might have to repeat 9th grade, just like the class troublemaker, Ivan. Ivan hears this and laughs with his friend Brando, making Michel feel even worse. Then things get serious. The principal comes into the room with a police officer named Giovanna. They ask a worrying question. Has anyone seen or heard from their classmate, Martino? He's missing. Ivan and Brando make stupid jokes as usual. Giovanna ignores them and tells the class it's very important to tell the police if they hear anything from Martino. Before leaving, another officer gives Giovanna something. She then notices Michel. She walks straight to his desk and puts his forgotten lunchbox down. Everyone in class stares. They all realize the police officer is Michel's mom. As soon as his mom leaves, Ivan and Brando start teasing him. "Mommy brought your lunch." Michel doesn't say anything, but he feels something wet. His nose is bleeding. He quickly leaves the room to go to the restroom. He cleans up his nose. But just as he's about to leave the restroom, the school bell rings. He gets scared. He hides in a toilet stall. This was a bad idea. Ivan and Brando find him. They kick the stall door open and pull him out. They know he has money. He says he doesn't, but they check his shoe and find the hidden cash, the money for his Spider-Man costume. It's gone. Feeling completely helpless, Michel watches them take his money. They tell him to run, giving him a few seconds head start before Ivan starts shooting at him with a paintball gun. Michel runs, trying to dodge the paintballs, but he gets hit. He falls down in the hallway right in front of other students, who just watch. Ivan and Brando laugh and walk away proudly, leaving Michel feeling embarrassed and beaten. Later, Michel gets home, feeling very down. His little sister, Candela, is happy to see him, but he just walks past her to the kitchen. The cook says there's food, but when Michel finds out his mom made it, he says he's not hungry. He goes to his room and looks at Stella's social media page on his computer. He thinks about sending her a friend request, waits a bit, then clicks send. His sister keeps asking him silly questions about Superman, but Michel is lost in thought and ignores her. He checks how much money he has left, only a small note. But he really wants to go to Stella's Halloween party, so he decides he needs a cheaper costume. Michel goes to a different shop. The owner shows him a Chinese superhero costume. Michel doesn't really like it, but the owner says it's great and talks him into buying it. Michel asks what powers the superhero has. The owner just says, "You'll find out." Meanwhile, Michel's mom, Giovanna, gets a video message. It's from Martino, the missing boy. In the video, Martino says he ran away because he was tired of being home. Giovanna thinks this is very strange. Martino is a smart kid, and she doesn't understand why he would just leave. That night, Giovanna comes home and sees Michel sitting sadly in his new costume. He tells her he doesn't want to go to Stella's party because the costume is lame. Giovanna tries to make him feel better. She says maybe this superhero still fights bad guys and does good things. Michel asks if the superhero is like his dad. Giovanna tells him his dad was also a police officer, like her, who fought criminals. She encourages Michel to go to the party. With her support, he finally feels brave enough to leave. Soon, Michelle arrives at Stella's party. Surprisingly, Stella seems really happy he came. She tells him his Chinese superhero costume looks cool, even though he feels awkward wearing it. Stella says she's been to China and loves living near the sea. Michelle smiles, liking the conversation and feeling closer to her. But then trouble starts. Some kids gather around the TV. Michelle looks and sees a video playing. It's the secret recording of Stella he took. Brando, the bully, stole it from his phone. Brando loudly tells everyone he got the video from Michelle. Everyone stares at Michelle. Feeling super embarrassed and ashamed, Michelle runs to the bathroom. He hates his bad luck and even complains about his costume, wishing it could make him invisible. Just then, there's a big flash of lightning outside. It's like his wish was heard. Feeling awful, Michelle climbs out the bathroom window and goes home. The next morning, something weird happens. His dog just stares at him, looking confused. Michelle ignores it and goes to brush his teeth. He looks in the mirror and gets a huge shock. He can't see himself. He's invisible. His body is gone. He starts to freak out. Just then his mom, Giovanna, comes into the room calling his name. She doesn't see him, only the dog. Thinking fast, Michelle writes a note saying he already left for school. Giovanna finds the note and leaves. Michelle wraps himself in clothes so people can see his shape and carefully goes to school. But before going inside, he stops. Being invisible feels strange, like he's a monster. He almost turns back, but then he sees Ivan putting his paintball gun in his bag. Michelle gets an idea. His confidence comes back. He walks into the classroom unseen. He takes Ivan's paintball gun and shoots the board right near the teacher. Everyone panics. Michelle quickly puts the gun back near Ivan, making it look like Ivan did it. The teacher yells at Ivan, while Michelle secretly feels happy with his trick. But Michelle isn't finished. Still invisible, he sneaks into the teacher's office. He finds his test paper and changes his wrong answers to right ones, giving himself a good grade. Feeling powerful, Michelle decides to prank Brando next. He goes to Brando's tennis practice. Invisible Michelle messes things up so Brando loses an important match. Brando's dad yells at him for losing. Later, in the locker room, Michelle scares Brando by moving things around when no one is looking. Brando gets really freaked out. Feeling good about himself, Michelle leaves school. On his way out, he sees some girls going into the building. He realizes they're going to the girls' changing room. He's curious, so he follows them inside, still invisible. While he's in there, a towel accidentally falls on him. The girls notice the towel floating strangely. To make things worse, Michelle's invisibility starts to stop working. He slowly becomes visible again, right in front of them. The girls scream. Michelle is caught. This gets Michelle into big trouble. The principal finds out, and his mom is called to take him home. In the car, Giovanna asks why he was in the girls' changing room. She tells him he almost got kicked out of school. Michelle stays quiet, too embarrassed and confused to explain. The next day, the school buzzes with news of Brando's sudden disappearance. A psychologist named Basili visits the school, advising students to share their feelings rather than running away like Brando. Meanwhile, Michelle endures stares and whispers from his classmates, who mock him for his misadventures. But then, Michelle notices something alarming. He's turning invisible again. Covering his arms to hide the transformation, he waits for the bell to ring and dashes out of the classroom, not knowing what might happen next. Back home, Michelle finds his little sister, Candela, in his room. He quickly turns to the wall and tells her to leave, but Candela playfully pretends to leave and then hides. Michelle starts taking off his clothes, not knowing she's still there. Suddenly, Candela screams. She sees her brother is invisible. Michelle covers her mouth and makes her promise not to tell anyone. He explains he thinks the power came from the superhero costume he wore. Candela gets excited, calls it magical pajamas, and says Michelle is now a superhero. Michelle feels worried about the powers, but Candela thinks he can use them to help people. She even gives him a superhero name, the Invisible Boy. Meanwhile, at the police station, the school helper Basili talks to Michelle's mom, Giovanna. He thinks the missing boys, Brando and Martino, just ran away from home because of family problems. Giovanna isn't sure. Basilei shows messages the boys sent home, saying there's no proof they were kidnapped. Later that night, Giovanna finds Michel reading a comic book. As she gets close, Michel quickly takes off his clothes and turns invisible. Giovanna thinks he's not there and leaves. She goes to her room and makes a phone call. Michel secretly listens. He hears his mom sadly talking about how he's been acting. She thinks he might have found out he's adopted. Michel is shocked to hear this but doesn't let her know he heard. Feeling upset and confused, Michel goes to the beach alone. While he's playing on a swing, Stella, the girl he likes, shows up. She sees the swing moving by itself and gets curious. Is it a ghost? Michel, still invisible, draws a smiley face in the sand. Stella isn't scared. She asks him to swing with her, and they have a nice time. Before she leaves, she asks if he'll be her friend. Michel happily says yes. Stella even gives him candy. He asks if she's scared of him, but she says no. As Stella leaves for her gymnastics training, she asks if she'll see her invisible friend again. Michel says yes. He feels happy, but then things get weird. He sees a blind man nearby who seems to be watching him. How can a blind man see an invisible boy? Michel watches the man until he walks away. The next day, Michel apologizes to Stella for recording her. She says it's okay and draws a smiley face in her notebook, making him feel great. Later that night, Michel sneaks to Stella's house and draws a smiley face on her window. She lets him in and starts asking lots of questions about him. But Michel notices he's starting to become visible again, so he has to leave quickly. Back home, Candela tells Michel he should just tell Stella the truth about his powers. Michel agrees. It's time to tell her. Stella is at the gym practicing gymnastics, but she can't focus. Her mom gets annoyed and steps out for coffee. While Stella is alone, danger arrives. A masked man sneaks in and shoots Stella with something that makes her fall asleep. He picks her up and carries her out. Just then Michel arrives. He tries to stop the man, but he's not strong enough. The man gets away with Stella. Michel quickly calls the police. When Giovanna arrives, Michel tells her he feels terrible because he couldn't save Stella. Giovanna promises they will find her. Meanwhile, Stella wakes up in a strange lab. Scientists are doing tests on her. They tell their boss that Stella is not the person they are looking for. Since they don't need her, guards take Stella to a dark room, like a bunker. Inside, she finds Brando and Martino, the other missing kids. They were kidnapped too. The next day, Michel can't find his costume. He finds out Giovanna washed it. But now, the costume is tiny, it shrunk. It doesn't fit him anymore. Even Candela tries it on, but she doesn't turn invisible. Michel gets very angry at Giovanna for ruining his costume. She says it was dirty, but he shouts that he hates her. The family cook tells him off for being disrespectful. Then Michel says something shocking, "You're not my real mother." Giovanna is stunned. Before she can say anything, Michel storms out. As he leaves, his power accidentally breaks a glass behind him. Upset, Michel goes back to the beach. The strange man he saw before comes up to him. The man says his name is Anraj. He tells Michel his powers don't come from the costume. Michel is confused. He asks if Anraj kidnapped Stella. Anraj says no, and then says something amazing. He can read Michel's mind. Michel doesn't believe it. Then Anraj tells him a huge secret. He is Michel's real father. Michel argues, saying his father is dead. But Anraj says that's just what he was told. Anraj tells a story from long ago in Russia. Nuclear radiation gave some people special powers. These people, called specials, were taken to secret places for experiments to turn them into weapons. Anraj was one of them. There, he met a woman named Yelena, another special. They fell in love. When Yelena got pregnant with Michel, they knew the baby would be experimented on too. They had to escape, but soldiers chased them. Yelena, who could turn invisible, told Anraj to run with the baby while she fought them off. She fought hard but was caught and shot by the leader of the camp. Anraj escaped with baby Michel. He looked for a safe place for years and finally left Michelle with Giovanna. Michelle is overwhelmed. He realizes his invisibility comes from his real mother, Yelena. But he still isn't sure if he believes Anraj. He asks Anraj if he can really read minds. Anraj proves it. He points to a fisherman nearby and says the fisherman is already thinking about calling the police because he thinks Anraj might be kidnapping Michelle. Back at the police station, Giovanna is worried because Michelle hasn't come home. Basilai asks what's wrong. Giovanna explains the fight and how Michelle said she wasn't his real mom. She's scared he found out things she hadn't told him. Just then, a detective tells them someone reported a suspicious man walking with a boy matching Michelle's description. Giovanna and Basilai rush out. Meanwhile, back at the beach, Michelle asks Anraj how to control his powers. Anraj says it will happen naturally over time. To show his own power, Anraj makes the fisherman forget what he just saw. Michelle is amazed but also a little scared. Before leaving, Anraj gives Michelle a special suit. This suit will let him turn invisible whenever he wants, without taking his clothes off. Just as the police arrive at the beach, Anraj tells Michelle he has to go but promises they'll always be connected through their minds. He gives a warning. The bad guys from Russia know about Michelle and will try to catch him. Anraj leaves. The police ask the fisherman what happened, but Anraj wiped his memory, so the fisherman remembers nothing. Giovanna asks Michelle if he saw anything. He lies and says no. She sends him home with Basilai, the school helper. Back home, Michelle tries on the new invisible suit Anraj gave him. Basilai comes in and asks him to come eat. While they sit, Basilai says strange things about Michelle changing. Then, Michelle sees bloodstains on Basilai's shirt. He realizes Basilai is not a helper, he's dangerous. Michelle tries to run, but Basilai locks the door. He threatens Michelle. Call the police and his friends will die. Michelle uses his invisibility power to escape the room. Basilai is impressed, saying Michelle is like his mother. Michelle manages to trap Basilai using a hidden bed trick and runs out of the house. Outside, he sees Ivan on his bike. He tells Ivan, who can't see him, that they need to help Stella. Ivan is confused but eventually agrees. They ride off together. Back at the house, Giovanna finds the mess. Anraj appears and explains everything to her. Meanwhile, Stella makes a plan to escape the bunker on the ship. With help from Brando and Martino, she gets out and shines a light, making a smiley face signal. Michelle and Ivan see the light. It's Stella. They follow the light to a big ship. Stella gets caught and has to turn off the light. They reach the ship. Michelle turns invisible and sneaks on board. Ivan creates noise by breaking something on the ship to distract the guards. Inside, Michelle finds a control room. Basilai is there with other bad guys, watching a video of Giovanna and Anraj talking about Michelle. Michelle accidentally makes a noise, letting them know someone is there, but he quickly hides and follows them. He sees Stella being moved to another cage. Michelle acts fast. He fights the guards, frees Stella, Brando, and Martino, and locks the guards in the cage. He takes off his mask. Stella is shocked. She didn't know her invisible friend was Michelle. Brando and Martino want to leave, but Stella says they must rescue another man trapped on the ship. Michelle agrees. But as Stella leads him to the man, she pulls out a gun. It's a trap. She says she's not the real Stella. Before Michelle can do anything, the trapped man, named Claw, touches the fake Stella, and she falls down like she's turned off. Claw tells Michelle he has a power. He can control people with his touch. He says Michelle has great power too, just like him. Michelle tries to fight, but Claw threatens to hurt the real Stella if he doesn't obey. Claw admits he controlled Basilai and the fake Stella. Then he reveals another huge secret. Michelle's mother, Yelena, is alive. Claw says she helped plan all this and wants Michelle to join their group of specials. Meanwhile, Giovanna and Anraj arrive at the ship, led by Ivan. Anraj uses his mind power and realizes Michelle isn't on the ship anymore. He also finds a bomb. Giovanna rescues Brando and Martino. She finds Basilai locked up. He looks scared, but Giovanna demands to know where Michelle is. Anraj yells that they have to leave, The bomb is about to explode. They barely escape before the ship blows up. Giovanna is heartbroken, thinking Michelle is gone. But Michelle isn't on the ship. He's on a submarine with Claw and Stella. Claw is putting Stella into a small escape pod. He tells Michelle he's not normal and belongs with his specials, who are better than humans. Michelle gets furious. Hearing Claw talk down about humans and trying to take him from his family makes his powers explode inside the submarine. He breaks free, jumps into the escape pod, and rescues Stella. Claw shouts that Giovanna would be ashamed of him. Michelle yells back, "My mom is dead." He shuts the pod door and they shoot up to the surface. When they reach the beach, people are waiting, relieved and amazed by Michelle. Michelle goes back to Giovanna. He's cold and sneezes. She wraps him in a blanket, so happy he's alive. But then Michelle sees Anraj going into a building. He asks Giovanna to wait and goes to meet his father. He begs Anraj not to leave, but Anraj says he must. He reminds Michelle they are connected in their minds. Michelle asks why they kidnapped Stella instead of him. Anraj says it doesn't matter now because soon, no one will remember any of this. Michelle sees Stella nearby and goes to her. She says she was looking for him and remembers the last few days. Michelle sadly tells her she will forget him soon. He tells her to go find the others. As Stella walks away, Anraj uses his power to wipe the memories of everyone involved. The next day, the police talk to Giovanna and Basilai about rescuing the kids. Neither of them remembers what really happened. The police chief tells Giovanna she should take the credit since she brought the kids back. Giovanna talks to the news reporters, accepting praise for the rescue. At school, Ivan and Brando try to bully Michelle again. But this time, Michelle doesn't fight back. He calmly tells Ivan he acts out because of attention problems, and tells Brando to deal with his anger towards his father. The bullies are shocked and walk away. Later, at a school party, Michelle sees Stella leaving. He asks why. She says she doesn't feel like partying after being kidnapped, though she doesn't remember how or by whom. She asks Michelle if he wants to walk with her. He says yes, and they leave together. But the story isn't over. Michelle accepted his powers and became a hero. He found his father and learned about his mother. Many questions are left unanswered. What will happen next for Michelle and his family?